man Bermas here, and I'm coming at you from a little slice of heaven on earth. We're about 45 minutes away from Batavia, New York, where I'm going to be speaking at the Reawaken America Tour this weekend, this Saturday. So pumped to do so. And right now we're here because almost every hotel was sold out or ridiculously expensive and almost impossible to book. It's almost $1,000 for some of these places, like the Best Western. So we had to find this place here, and boy, I'm sure glad we did. I'm going to be going to the meet and greet tonight, and then the event kicks off tomorrow. I want to thank everybody out there that donated, because without your donations, again, these things wouldn't be possible. Big shout out to Jim. You know who you are. I don't want to say your last name in case you're not comfortable, but you know, this place was, for 2 nights, I think it was like $337, and his donation was a little bit more than that, but boy, it paid for these 2 nights. We ended up staying at like this really sketchy Econo Lodge last night because we got in like 2 or 3 in the morning, and there was just no way we could have stayed there. So go to my Twitter feed right now, because we're going to start talking about another really ridiculous Faucian moment and beyond. Now, in my Twitter feed, there's this new video of Lord Fauci, and he's sitting there laughing it up with some other moderator about creating the you-know-what in his kitchen with some meatballs. And not only is that disturbing, that people are so warped and placated that this guy's allowed to go on tour and make jokes about the COVID-19 84 nightmare that the vast majority of us have lived through, and something that touched everybody. And hey, that's one of the things I absolutely got right about the whole thing, that it was going to come for you. I figured that out in February. In January, when everything was kicking off, I was joking about have a Corona beer on me, right? Remember that? And, I come from bar culture. And the thing that's even more disturbing is then you look at the crowd who's laughing and worshiping the Fauci, and 3/4 of them are still in the masks. 3/4 of them are still in the mask. Fauci's not in the mask. The moderator's not in the mask. They're laughing it up. They're tapping it up. Okay? So that's in my Twitter feed. Another big story in my Twitter feed right now that I would encourage others to go check out is that every single one of the Democrats that are running for Congress in New York on this debate panel, and I believe there were 6 of them, want every mandate you can imagine back in action. They want your face covered on a plane, on public transit, and you know what they want for the kids? The mandatory boopity, just so they can go to school. Okay? These people are disgusting. They are disgusting. I've never been on a jet ski, not that I wouldn't try it, but this place, man, this is going to be a nice little deal. We're going to the meet and greet afterwards. I'm really looking forward to that. That's going to be at 7 p.m. in Batavia, New York. I'm not sure if there's any tickets available. I would imagine it is sold out. But God willing, I'm going to be speaking in October after this in Pennsylvania as well, which is actually pretty close to upstate New York. We're in western New York. A lot of people don't understand how big of a state New York is. This isn't New York City by any means, and we're about an hour away from Rochester, where the event was initially supposed to take place. But what happened? Oh no, we can't have it in Rochester. You're gonna get canceled. We're gonna protest. And so instead it was moved to Batavia, New York. It was moved to a revival type outdoor pastors event, and it's going to house thousands of people. How do I know it's going to house thousands of people? There wasn't a hotel in Batavia that wasn't booked. The hotels, even the ones that I was gonna maybe go to, were still 20 miles out. You're here, huh, Cheryl? Awesome. You're in Batavia. You're getting ready for the big event on Friday and Saturday. I'm pumped because Jim Brewer is going to be there. And one of the things that we actually listened to while we were on our way into the area from Stafford, Virginia. I'm here with my lovely girlfriend. She's inside getting some work done. Alicia Powell, she does amazing work for the Gateway Pundit. I would encourage you to check her out as well. We listened to Brewer's Somebody Had to Say It. And if you haven't heard Brewer's Somebody Had to Say It, number one, it's hilarious. Way to go, Jim Brewer. You can find some other hilarious stuff by Jim Brewer on Amazon Prime. In fact, I was promoting that because Jim Brewer was one of the very few people in the so-called mainstream arena anywhere that was putting out short, concise, and intelligent videos, okay? I wouldn't call this vacation because I sure didn't think I was gonna end up staying here. And like I said, we got here probably, I don't know, about an hour ago, set up shop, decided to do this, and then I'm gonna be leaving in about 4 hours for that, and then it's work all weekend. You know what I mean? I don't think we're gonna be able to go out on the water or anything like that. Not happening. I would encourage people, however, if you've never been to upstate New York, I believe this is Lake Canisius. And Canisius is a beautiful place. Even in Brockport, where I was earlier today, very cute, small college town, down-to-earth folks, just kind of awesome. Now, another thing that I was listening to on the way here was I was getting in the Pentagons Brain. Now, I often talk about Annie Jacobson, and I often talk about her work on Area 51, Operation Paperclip, and DARPA, and how they all intertwine. And my speech, although it's going to be focusing somewhat on transhumanism, I'm going to be taking us through this idea of a military-industrial complex, a deep state, a continuity of government, or an executive within the executive that has brought us to that place, which is completely anti-constitution. And one of the great things about Annie Jacobson's books is they are all in audio format, okay? And those audio formats include the Pentagons Brain. Now, the Pentagons Brain, I think we were in chapter 5 or chapter 6. Whatever chapter has 2 parts. And they're talking psychological warfare, okay? And psychological warfare is so key to understanding what is happening in the world today and why we are in the situation that we are. And I learned something. I often learn a lot from Annie Jacobson. These are dense books. They're extremely well written. They're extremely well sourced. And did you know where the term brainwashing comes from? Anybody in the comments? Brainwashing. Who came up with that terminology? Now, here's the thing. When we're talking brainwashing, it was actually the Central Intelligence Agency that coined the term. And it coined the term because there was a gentleman, Mick Waltney, I think his name was, or Mick Wallens. I'm going to butcher it, but we're going to do a full video back when we get back to Iowa about brainwashing and this thing. And this soldier who had been in the Korean War started naming names and saying that back in that Korean War, we were taking part in biological warfare. All right, which obviously at that time was already against the Geneva Conventions and would have been 110% illegal. Forget about immoral, okay? Something that we said we would not do. So the CIA comes up with this terminology, brainwashing, and says that the communists have brainwashed their own people, but soldiers, to, believe certain things. And then they get into other POWs who had come back that they'd gotten, and they said the brainwashing tactics didn't work on them. And the gentleman that blew the whistle on these alleged biological warfare programs that were going on during the Korean War, bacteriological and others, basically flipped, right? He flipped. And all of a sudden, he said he had been brainwashed, none of it happened, and he was a national hero. And it was that terminology at first of brainwashing that then gained traction within the Central Intelligence Agencies, the other apparatuses, and that would lead to eventually MK Ultra. But there were precursor programs such as Artichoke amongst them. Okay, and all of this stuff is still heavily classified. Okay, look at how much information is still classified via the Nazi Operation Paperclip program. It's almost insurmountable. You know, we talked about $50 million in the Jones case. That is chump change when you look at the amount of documentation that is still classified as of 2013 when she wrote Operation Paperclip. Forget about 50 million documents. It was 600 million documents. Let me repeat that. 600 million documents. Wow. That seems important. That seems like something, you know, we should want to know about. The psychological warfare on the populace has only gotten more sophisticated, more vast, and absolutely more in your face. And people are succumbing to it all over the place. In fact, I was pretty disappointed. I came out here and in Brockport, New York, there's a Red Jug pub. I wanted to go meet up with my old boss and what I thought was my friend. We had, you know, a little bit of an internet spat about, you know, politics. Who cares? And it wasn't like I called them names or anything like that. I let him know, I think about a week ago, that I was going to be in town Wednesday night through Saturday. And I said, hey, man, what are you doing? Maybe we can catch a beer tonight. I'd love to catch up, blah, 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 blah. Oh, no, actually, I'm out of town. Really? Are you really out of town? Or you just don't want to talk to me? I mean, if you don't want to talk to me, let me know why. I just, it turns my stomach a little bit. So then I was like, hey, maybe we can do Saturday. What do you think about Saturday? Well, apparently Saturday was no good, and that he's busy all the way through Sunday evening. Wants nothing to do with it. Sad. Sad. You know, I don't care what your political beliefs are. You know, when you're supposed to be my friend, you're supposed to be my friend. I want human beings from all sides to be able to communicate with one another. You know, I got my hair cut today, and it's kind of funny, man. This is like a little college town I was in, again, Brockport. I walked into a barber shop, and the barber was, I guess he was speaking broken English, looked like a little old Italian man. He's cutting somebody's hair. He's like, no, no, no. I'm like, no, you're not taking people, no. He's like, no, 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 no. I'm leaving. I'm like, okay, all right. Now this is like 11 in the morning. It's not a work day. He wasn't leaving. So go outside. There was another gentleman out there, rather nice, saw me leave. I'm like, I can't believe that guy just said I couldn't get a haircut. That's really weird. I didn't understand it. Still really don't understand it, except for enlightened a little bit. He says, hey, there's a barber shop across the street. So I go across the street, and guy about my age, a little bit younger, 39. He comes in and we start talking. I tell him that I got turned away over at the other barber shop, and he said that he was leaving in the workday. And he goes, oh man, he doesn't do college kids. He doesn't let them come in. I go, well, obviously I'm not a college kid. Look at all the grays in my hair. I was wearing my hat. 43 years young. And he goes, you should take it as a compliment that he thought you were a college kid and he just outright denied you. But hey, I guess that's his right if he wants to outright deny people based on their age. So, you know, you got ageism, you got racism, you got sexism, you got all sorts of isms. But I just really wish that people could continue to come together and love one another. And that was one of the great things that I loved about Brewer's comedy special, was the end gave that message. And Jim is probably the person I am most excited to see. He's going to be doing a half an hour comedy bit at this event, but it's stacked to the ceiling, right? I mean, think about how many people are going to be there. Eric Trump is going to be there on the heels of this FBI raid. Sherry Tempany is going to be there. I'd love to sit down with her and get her on the program. We're going to try to hit as many people up as possible. I was recently on a show called Making Sense of the Madness, and he is going to be on a panel there as well. I'm able to speak. Clay Clark, of course, hosting the event. Clay texted me today, said, boom, you're in town. He's just got more energy than I can ever imagine. So I want to say it again. I want to thank all you guys for allowing me to do this, because I couldn't do it without you. I'm a little guy in this, and every single bit of support, whether it's financial or otherwise, helps. You know, I had the conversation with the guy who was cutting my hair, and I haven't gone fishing, Jason. And, you know, he was talking to me, and, you know, I eventually brought up Loose Change. He knew what that was, and he was really excited to check out my other documentary films. He wrote them down. He's like, oh, I can't wait, man. Thank you so much. And I'm like, well, thank you, bro. And, you know, I said to him, I feel like right now there is this purposeful move, and especially during the COVID 1984 nightmare, right, to divide the vast majority of us, okay, based on Johnny nonsense. I go, come on, man, you know as well as I do, most of us just want to live our lives, be with our family, love one another, go to work, get things done, pay our bills, and be as happy as possible. We don't need an R or a D next to our name. Doesn't matter if you're liberal or conservative. This is a human thing. And they have a transhuman and post-human agenda, not of empowering us, but of enslaving us. So guys, again, you want to support the links are down below. You can buy me a coffee, $5, $10, $15. It absolutely means the world to me. You know, some people were asking about straight donations. I do it through PayPal, jasonisvoid@yahoo.com. But you can also make, and I'm going to try to upload this afterwards, once it settles in over at YouTube. Don't make that free Rockfin account. At least follow me there. That's where all my uncensored stuff is. Remember, I'm constantly being kicked off of YouTube. You can go there. There's 100+ videos. All my documentary films are free. Everything I do is free. But if you do want to make that premium subscription, $9.99 a month or $99.99 for the year, you do it on a desktop, you lock it in with Jason Bermas, you get everybody else's great content for free. All the other premium content. Jay Dyer, Michael Tracy, Max Blumenthal. Kim Iverson is back after what? They tried to censor her and not let her interview Dr. Faucian. He went on the Hill Rising, but they didn't want Kim Iverson, who would have asked some real questions. No, they want people giggling with Fauci about creating the you-know-what in his kitchen and with his meatballs. That's what they want, with a bunch of people masked up, laughing and loving it. I mean, there's nothing to laugh about, guys. Tyranny is tyranny. And to me, that's never about left or right. I had somebody in my comment section act like I don't know what the difference between left and right is. Yeah, I do. It's about right and wrong. And it's definitely about right and wrong right now. So I absolutely love you guys. And again, the view is so picturesque here. I can't wait to see all of you who are going to be at Batavia, New York in the next 2 days. And I will see you on